Good afternoon. Or, which welcome had the bigger impact on you? Well, based off your reactions, I'm going to assume the former. The welcome that used my voice, or the spoken word even. Name something else that has the power to facilitate the education of our youth, ally previously ostracized countries, and be the carrier of teachings for generations to come. Now, I know that's quite the thought to just throw on you, but here's another one. Imagine if I took your voice away. Let me go into your mind. I bet some of you are thinking, well, I've lost my voice before, and I was fine. I improvised, because there are other methods of communication, to which would be entirely correct. Of course there are other ways that we can communicate. Take sign language, or the written word. But the same ideas and concepts are being communicated regardless, you may think. Well, yes, but the difference in their interpretations lies within their respective dimensionalities. You see, the spoken word has a certain depth to it. It is able to capture things that the written word cannot. Previously bland and mediocre ideas are suddenly injected with life through maybe the pace of our sentences, or the tone in which we choose to employ, or body language as we speak, or even pausing. From that to varying levels of volume. See? Could I have invoked such a reaction with just the written word? Our voices are some of the most powerful tools that we have at our disposal. They are the reasons that we're able to build bonds and connect with others, as well as navigate through the world in which we live. Think. From cries of victory with your sports team, to singing along to your favorite song, to the first I love you to your partner. Of all of these memories, what is the one thing that facilitated them all? Your voice. And throughout this talk, I urge you all to try to answer this one simple question in your heads. How different would your lives be if I took your voice away? Let's start. So I know I just told you all to imagine how different your life would be if I took your voice away. But what if I told you that I had my voice taken away, figuratively speaking? Now, as you may or may not come to realize during this talk, I have a stutter, inherited since birth on my mother's side, and because of this, I found myself to have quite the unique perspective on the power of articulation in our language. Learned through the lens of a young boy who was scared to death to read his chapter in class for fear of a bad stuttering hang-up. Throughout my adolescence, there were countless occasions where I withheld my voice in group and public situations for fear of what others may say. Is he not confident? The way some people would try to finish off my sentences for me after a particularly bad stutter, even though I was fully capable of finishing the sentences myself. From that to the infamous, why is he talking like that? A sentence that's held firm with me ever since the first time it was said. Now make no mistake, these comments weren't made out of mockery or with malicious intent, but what they did was serve as a marker that I was different. That I couldn't speak like the other kids, which was especially embarrassing as a younger teenager, just trying to figure out who he was and what he wanted out of life. But nevertheless, I never let this stop me from achieving the goals I envisioned for myself, from multiple group presentations to drama performances through school, in front of a several hundred-person strong audience, half of which required singing to some degree. Done. From that to having to give speeches to prospective parents at open days by the end of my school career. Also done. Now, the recounting of these events is not some show of self-indulgence in my own achievements, but rather a display of growth, from my shy adolescent self to standing here before you in an act of nerve-wracking public speaking. And although I'm proud of my growth, from the person I was 5 years ago to now, it's growth that I don't want anyone else to have to go through. But if they must, then I want to plant that seed of growth in others. And as I'm standing here before you in an act of nerve-wracking public speaking, let's have a talk about it. So, glossophobia, defined as the fear of public speaking, is the most common phobia in the world, above heights, spiders, and even death, with about 40% of the population suffering from this, according to the National Centre for Social Anxiety. About 20% of you in this room would rather take your last breath than trade positions with me right now. And isn't that an interesting statistic? But what is driving it? A lack of confidence? Maybe you feel like the audience may judge you, that they may not heed the importance of your words. Maybe you feel like your voice isn't important enough to warrant the attention of the audience. Or maybe it's due to a fear of stuttering and stumbling over your words due to nerves. And let's have a visual. Hands up if you've ever felt nervous at the idea of having to give a presentation or during it. See? Almost everyone in the room. And let's have a talk about that. Although I hope I'm giving the illusion that I've overcome my fear of public speaking, I assure you that I haven't. And it's been difficult for me to try to overcome, but it doesn't have to be for you. According to the British Stammering Association, 1 in 50 suffer from a stutter. But beyond the formal diagnoses, nerve-induced stuttering affects us all to some degree. I want you all to think back to a time where you had to give a presentation and think about the emotions that you felt at that time. Nervousness and fear. Two emotions that were almost certain to have made an appearance in your heads. But why? And how can we minimize them? Personally, I found that in order to truly articulate yourself properly, you must take full ownership of your voice. Embrace it, because your voice is part of your identity. And the second thing, believe. Believing in your words and in your truth are the first steps to making those around you believe also. Do you believe that your voice is powerful? Do you believe that your thoughts and ideas deserve to be listened to? And do you believe that your voice has the power to change the lives of those around you? Yes. Yes, you do. Always. Now, if there are two things that you can take from my talk, the first would be to take action, and the second would be to take action again, and then gratitude. I want you all to think back to my introduction and my initial question. Imagine if I took your voice away. And as you've been on this thought journey together, I want you to think about what you thought at that point and hone in on what you think right now. Every single person in this room has been gifted with one of the greatest tools that they could ever have. And as you leave this conference today, I implore you all to use it. Use your voices to help teach, nurture, motivate, and inspire those around you. Because our voices are powerful. Our voices deserve to be listened to, and our thoughts and ideas heard. And our voices have the power to change the lives of those around us. And one more thing. I don't want anyone in this room to wake up tomorrow wishing of all the things they wish they could have said if you woke up tomorrow and found that I took your voice away. Thank you.